What's up guys, this is Alex, and in this video I wanna describe to you phobias. I wanna talk about phobias, what are phobias and so on. In the last video I talked about useless and irrational fears, and phobias are pretty much the strong kinds of useless and irrational fears. So let me give you an example. A couple of months ago, when I was swimming in lakes or rivers and I touched something with my feet and I realized that it was a plant, I just went bonkers. I went crazy. I just swam away as fast as possible, and well, I was in this really state of fear, and I was so afraid of these kinds of plants that I just went crazy when I touched it with my feet. And well, the thing with phobias is that they can be triggered by almost anything. In my case, plants that grow on the grounds of lakes and rivers. The person that has the phobia is aware that the phobia is completely irrational. I knew that these kinds of weeds don't harm me at all. They won't do me any harm. They are not dangerous. I knew that, but that didn't help. The awareness if you look at phobias, awareness doesn't really help. And I had a really hard time sometimes when I went swimming. That is one kind of phobia. That's a simple kind of phobia that is triggered by a certain object. There's so many kinds of different phobias. Phobias can be triggered by almost anything, pretty much, like cats, dogs, people, objects, anything pretty much. And it's really a mystery where they come from and how they are developed, and people often have a really hard time struggling with them. There are simple kinds of phobias which may be worked around, like if you're afraid of dogs, just avoid situations where you might confront dogs or something. But there are really compound phobias as well. Compound phobias are the kinds of phobias which are really strong. And the fear of criticism, which I will describe in really all in its details in the next video, and how it affects your life. This kind of fear, I think, in my opinion, can be considered or called a phobia as well. I'm not an expert in psychology or something, but if I look at the symptoms of phobias, especially compound phobias, in my opinion it can be described as a phobia as well, because it really affects your life in a very negative way. It is triggered by many different situations. So the compound phobias, they are not just triggered by a simple object, but like by situations, if you're in different social situations and so on. And these really affect your life in a very negative way, and oftentimes it's really hard to work around them, and you have a really hard time just enjoying your life. And I did really make some life-altering decisions which were not in my favor. So what are you going to do? What do I do with phobias? There are some cures, some ways and some methods, and I will describe them in the next couple of videos after I have described the fear of criticism and different ways to overcome the fear of criticism to you. And well, then it will get more interesting. I will introduce you to some books to read and so on. So I'm really looking forward to it. To sum it up, phobias are the extreme kinds of fears that can be triggered by objects like plants or animals or something, and the people are aware of the fact that the phobia doesn't really harm them, but they have a really hard time just overcoming them. Some of them might be worked around, and some of them, like the compound phobias, like the extreme strong kinds of phobias, they pretty much affect your life in a very negative way, and oftentimes it's really hard to work around them. So that's it basically. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, go out there, face your fears, be courageous and express yourself. I will see you in the next video. Peace.